Welcome back, everybody, to Two Tamers Talk. As always, joined by my man, Jeff.
Hey, guys.
Elephant in the room. Things have changed, right?
We're changing some things.
Changing. We're moving. We're grooving. Your first thought is going to be, what happened? Why did everything change? What's going on with Wayward? Nothing. Nothing's going on with Wayward. Everything's going on with us. And the fact that we want to get into a little discussion here and make sure that everyone knows everything is fine.
Yep.
Wayward is fine. It's still our locals. It's still our home. It's still where we're playing. It's still our Discord.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about the evolution of this channel and kind of where we want to take it and where it's been.
Yeah.
Right? And let's go back to the beginning. And we're going to go off on this little tangent just to kind of reassure people that everything's okay. If you're all Digimon focused, then you can skip ahead a little bit. But if you want to know why the channel's changed a little bit, this is why. If we're going back to the very beginning, we started this channel back in September.
Yes.
In partnership. In partnership, but just kind of in collaboration with our locals, because we had kind of a big vision, right?
We did.
A big vision to go multiple TCGs, multiple box openings, because we had a huge passion for Digimon. And we wanted to capture that vision for all the TCGs in the shop. And so what ended up happening was obviously, we're 63, 64 videos in?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We've done our part for Digimon, and we found our audience. We found you, and all the feedback we get is about Digimon. All the DMs we get are about Digimon, and everything we get, all the feedback we get is about Digimon.
Yeah.
And we don't get anybody asking for Magic, Flesh and Blood, all this stuff, where we love doing those unboxings. And
we have a blast.
We tried. But we couldn't find anyone in the local community that wanted to contribute the time and the thoughts to that kind of content.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening was our big Wayward City channel ended up, okay, I'm going to be corny here, digivolving into a Digimon channel.
Yes.
And we love our community. And so that's kind of what we did. We talked with the shop owner, and he's like, that's a Digimon channel. That's not a Wayward channel. It's totally fine. Like he loved us being a part of it and advertising the shop. And we're still going to advertise the shop because that's where we love to go and we love to visit. And it's where we play our locals. That's where we're going to play our locals. We're going to live in that Discord. That's where we hang out. But this is a Digimon channel, and it's going to be a Digimon channel. And we're going to just try and pursue that one avenue, because last thing we want now is, with this Digimon community on the channel, is for you guys to subscribe and click the bell, and then all of a sudden you're getting notifications for Pokemon unboxings and stuff, which you might enjoy.
Yeah.
But this also opens Wayward up. If they want to pursue that and create another channel, we can help them with that, and they can create their own channel to do that. But this is a Digimon channel.
This is
between me and Jeff and Joe and some of the other contributors, Jacob, this is what our passion is, and this is how we're going to pursue it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the short and sweet version of why this is now a new thing. So with that being said, we are experimenting with new graphics, new color schemes, new UIs, new settings, new stuff. So bear with us as we kind of refine and get things dialed in, because we are eventually going to do like play mats and hats and shirts and stuff like that. So because we do enjoy this.
We do.
Yeah. So it's been kind of a back and forth with me and Jeff about like, what do we want the brand essentially to look like? So if the logos change and stuff like that over the next few weeks, just bear with us. We're trial and error, right?
Yes. We're very excited. We would love to hear all of your thoughts in their comments below. If you have already messaged us in our Discord server, if you haven't gotten that Discord server, please comment us, and we will be sure to get that to us so you can talk to us. We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. So.
Yeah. We're all about getting better, right? I think that's obvious through all of our mistakes as far as rulings or weird things that happen. Like we're always open to getting better. So if you see something we can get better at, constructively let us know, and we will we'll work on it. So that being said, going back to Wayward, we had a great locals at Wayward.
It was
tonight.
a great locals.
It was fun.
Absolutely.
We had 16 tonight.
16, yes. And it's very important to notice we are this close to the holidays. We are having winter weather warnings.
Yep.
We had a lot of people who are spending time with their families. So 16 outstanding turnout. We've had 2 brand new players who have not played before at our locals.
Yep.
I love seeing that. I absolutely welcome them. And I love the gentleman in our community who has dragged those 2 there.
Yes.
And has really hooked them up with new decks, helped them out with deck building. So great turnout, great scene. How'd you do?
I did okay. I played Security Control again. My Security Control Digimon.
You did. You're having too much fun with that deck, man.
I did. It's so much fun. I love playing it. I mean, it's just one of those decks where even if I lose, as long as like I don't lose too bad or too fast, it's so much fun to play because I also played against 2 people. 2 of my 4 games tonight were against people that knew how the deck worked.
Which, it
had
kind of
intimate knowledge
value,
because one was you and one was Jacob. So you guys got to do your little Rain Man math against it, and but the other 2 games went really well too. It was fun. I didn't top, but I did well. I had fun. So it was a fun night essentially for me. It was one of those nights where we didn't know if it was going to happen because of the weather.
Yeah.
And
no, I think a lot of people were kind of like, I'm ready to go if there's an event, but if there isn't because of weather, like I have to be ready to stay home too, or shelter in place, right?
I think we both kind of just did what we did last week because we had so much fun with our decks last week. Because I was so used to playing Machine, and you fell in love. You're in love with your Yellow War Gray deck. How'd you do?
So that's what I played again tonight, and I keep making these changes. And like for the first time, I think ever in a deck, I cut out a level 3 and went up a level 7, and I don't want to say I bricked. I don't feel like it made, any significant changes going from 14 to 13 level 3s. And maybe that's just something I just need to be better about in the future. But I had so many great plays where I just, was able to go from that Blitz Omni into the Omnimon X Antibody because I've been just kind of falling in love with the, card of the week last week was that BT10 X Antibody Omnimon. And so like last week, I only tried a 1-in-1 split. This time I was like, I'm going to do 2 Blitz Omnis, 1 X Antibody Omni. And I think I really like the deck. My major loss was to the guy who got second tonight. Huge congrats to him. He played the red Wargrey X Antibody, outstanding deck, and I think it's hard for me to compete with that deck because, yes, I was able to clear security, but he was just able to follow up with a huge turn. So I've just been having a lot of fun building and playing these, very large stack decks. I very much enjoy being able to digivolve in the raising area, have this ginormous stack all of a sudden come out of nowhere, do massive damage. So, I got my fix for it though. It was 3 weeks in a row that I was playing this deck for the locals.
Yeah. But you've changed it every week.
I've been changing every week. Yeah. I think I finally settled, and I think you had a great idea about doing like an update series.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna pick one of these weeks because we are in a long format, right? We're in this EX3.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say purgatory, but I mean, it's long, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we still have a month and a half, if not a little bit, month and 3 weeks left in this. So there's going to be a lull. I mean, we're still building all the decks that we want to build and that you guys are asking for. I mean, we had a Thetismon request.
I'm very excited to do that request.
So,
yes, very excited.
I think Jacob's going to take that one on and try and build a Jellymon.
He's such a better blue player than I am.
He's
anyway,
the blue guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you did well with Aegisdramon, but this is
yes.
People are asking for a Jellymon deck, so we're gonna try and make it work.
Yeah, no, we got a lot of great stuff in the works, and I think just with how close we are to the holidays, and I know you were literally out all shopping all day today because not only did you have to buy stuff in case you get trapped in your house for an entire weekend, right? Like AKA a bunch of Digimon cards to play with for an entire weekend, or groceries, however you want to put that. But we're still doing holiday shopping. We're still preparing for family events. Like I know I got like 3 or 4 different family events just this weekend, assuming weather, permitting, right? So I unfortunately have not even had a chance to like build anything new since I got back home from my San Jose trip. So hopefully this weekend, once the holidays start to die down, I get a little bit extra time off work. I should just be diving in deep. But I'm very excited to start providing for the fans.
And I forgot to mention another key part of what we were talking about with this channel's new evolution is we want to get more gameplay videos going.
We love gameplay videos. Yes.
So that's probably the biggest request that we get because we profile, I mean, sometimes 3 or 4 decks a week.
Yeah.
When we're on our game and we get all these in the can and we profile them because they're all the decks that we've tested. But people want to see video of them being tested.
Like in action, yeah. Because gameplay, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I love watching gameplay videos. Yeah. Especially when I know like what the decks do and seeing how intense it can be. It's a blast.
Yeah. And so, fortunate for everyone, I have the infrastructure for all of the Discord stuff built out, so you guys can, because somebody goes to California like every 3 or 4 weeks, or what it seems like, and I have to retool all of the equipment to stream that. So I have that all figured out. So we're going to be able to do that. We just have to figure out a time to do it.
Yeah.
And what decks we want to play.
Yeah, so definitely if you guys have any requests for what decks you want to see first and some gameplay footage or just anything, let us know in the comments.
The funny thing is we've been getting those requests since the Lord Nightmon or Deanmon deck.
Oh, yeah. And no, it's like
people were like, this looks great, but I want to see it in action. They want to see it before they build it.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. I definitely completely understand. And I think we've just been having a lot of, I don't want to say growing pains. Like, that's not the word I'm looking for, but just like being able to, get the time and the setup. You know, you were talking about, you didn't have that infrastructure set up to where we were ready to play these games and record them. You know, we want to have legit games, good quality footage, good lighting, good cameras, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we also just need to be in the same state for a little bit of time as well. So,
well, and when you get our gameplay videos, you're going to get the raw thing. I mean, if someone bricks, you're just going to watch us brick and lose, because that's how the game works, right? So there's there's a couple YouTube channels that you watch, and they have the benefit is you get to see what the decks do for the entire game, but you can tell they're scripted. If you're a Digimon player and you know how the games work, there's no way both decks just completely do what they're supposed to do the entire game. Yeah. Where you see every card. So we're just going to give you the real deal. So you're going to get to see the decks brick if they brick. And but that's why we test the decks so much before we profile them, because if they're terrible, we're not going to just, here you go, because there's a lot of stuff that on paper looks really good, right?
Yeah.
Like communism looks great on paper, you know? But it's like, we don't do that with Digimon decks, you know? So, I mean, we just shot Leomon.
We did.
That's coming soon.
Yep.
But that's a deck you've been working on for several sets,
yeah, no, I mean, like, I feel like it really peaked with EX2 and BT8. Yeah. You know, and then, or excuse me, BT9. Yeah. BT8 did give it a lot of great pieces, yes, but BT9 started giving me a lot of X antibody stuff. That the fact that I'm playing a wonderful card game with Leomon X antibody is something I never saw coming back in set 1 when this game started. So I'm super happy with the growth of that deck. And I'm also very excited about that particular video because it's an open discussion video. Like, I want you guys to jump in there and tell me how to build Leomon deck, because BT11 is coming out. A new Panjamon's coming out, and the way I have it built might not seem straightforward when you first see it all laid out. But definitely test it, definitely give it some thoughts, and let me know what you think.
Yeah, it's a great example of just one of those decks that we've had in the can or in a box, in a deck box forever.
Yeah.
And it's still very competitive, and it drives me nuts playing against it. But so we did have a comment from one of our local newer players, not new players, but newer players, about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I kind of took it to heart because I almost made a segment out of it a couple weeks ago. He was asking about, like, well, I'm a newer player. I would like your and Jeff's comments or ideas on essential cards from earlier sets that I should get.
Yeah.
And I started putting together my own list, and I was like, I'm going to bring this up to Jeff so we can do this. And then all of a sudden, like 2 or 3 days later, we get the announcement for the reprint set.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, that just answered all of the questions. Like, that did all the work for me. Yeah. And essentially, like, so many of these cards on this list are just the cards that I was going to talk about. I mean, obviously, we're still really early in. I think we have like 8 or 9 cards.
Yeah.
I think they started off with the V Tamer, so they're diving into promos, folks. Like, we're going into promo cards.
So I'm really excited about this V Tamer because I remember when BT11 reveal started happening.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden Imperial Dramon got revealed, this Tamer jumped up in price.
Yeah.
Whereas a week before this, it was like $1 or something like that. Like, I'm not a market watch guy, forgive me. But I just remember, like, I have so many of these from opening so many boxes of 1.0 and having this particular Tamer and even building Old Force back in the day. And I think this is great. I mean, honestly, like, I don't think people should pay overpriced. I'm all for this game staying cheap and people playing it cheaply. So if this is an accessible way to get this Tamer, right, to play Imperial Dramon, or excuse me, Old Force, Old Force V Dramon, right? I'm all for it, but
and it's such a great tamer. I mean, I've been looking at this for ages because it's like you just suspend it and draw a card.
But my concern is that the reprint set is getting announced, right? So that means when are we actually going to get it?
Oh, I mean, we're not going to get it for,
we're at what, 3 sets? 2 sets?
This is one of those sets, though, that like they could do like an ST11 thing and just move it to wherever they want.
Yeah.
If they want to. Like if they wanted to introduce this, they could.
I just think it's going to suck for those that, because Old Force Digimon, is such a cool top end to the Vmon line. It's for those that, like that alternative split, right? Where, especially for those who've been following the early Digimon games, who have been fans of the Vmon line before season 2, right? Where this Old Force Digimon is the boss and you want to play it with this tamer. But if you don't get this reprint set until BT11 is gone, we might have Old Force Digimon Future Mode, which is an alternative, right? Level 6, probably a similar X antibody. Who knows by the time this comes out?
Yeah, so what you're talking about is like the important thing is that we should hopefully get this before we get the X antibody.
Yeah, that or just somehow getting this closely to when, because people are going to start playing Old Force Digimon in BT11.
Yeah.
That's February.
And I'm excited about that, to be honest with you. Like, I can't wait to see that.
No, BT11, stay tuned to the channel, guys. BT11 is going to explode with deck profile videos. We're going to have tons of things to build. All of a sudden, all of these fun tribal decks are going to be coming back with a passion. All these old combos and techniques and play styles. Just going to be,
But it seems like their strategy here is to give Japan that before they get BT13.
Yeah. And
where they get the Royal Knights.
Now, that's true. That's true, right? Because I think Old Force Digimon is a Royal Knight. Yeah. So if they give us an Old Force Digimon and if they give us a Future Mode or an X antibody or whatever, then that tamer could do a lot of work in that deck. So
yeah. So we'll see. Curious to see what their strategy is too, because I remember playing in what pre-release was it where we got the 0? Was it 7 or something? It's been so many pre-releases ago. Because remember we got those cards and we're like, these cards do nothing.
Yeah.
And the winner got the foils, right?
That's correct.
And the foils now, I mean, I haven't looked at prices, but they're probably not crazy.
They were not crazy, and they did have a little bit of a price jump when BT11 reveals started coming.
Yes,
they kind of died back down. Yeah.
So those were the first 2 reveals, and I think that they were kind of underwhelming because when people saw them at first, they're like, "Okay, you're going to reprint, and you're going to give us okay, yeah. Like, what else you got?"
It's so funny because Bandai can't seem to like get the promo situation right. Whereas, Pulsemon promo when that came out, every yellow deck played that as a 4F.
Oh, and then we got that pre-release winner card, and it actually made pre-release very competitive.
But then it's like, Vidramon support promo cards suck. I'm sorry, guys, they're just not good. And there's like no support, right? Or they're cheap promos.
Yeah.
And then the Gamamon stuff is nothing but promos. So it's like this weird, like, Bandai can't get the balance right. Because I'm all for promo cards not being game-changing cards.
Yeah.
I think if we can make easier distribution for everybody able to get their hands on these cards easier and not have to like spend a crap ton of money on promos to make their decks work, right? Especially if they're trying to be like competitive, right? Now, if you're trying to build a fun tribal deck that uses a promo, like the Gamamon stuff, like obviously that's not going to be the most competitive thing ever. It just sucks because, especially because Ghost Game is their main series going on right now. Like, they should just be handing out those Gamamons left and right, getting people to watch their show, getting people to play the game. Like, what a better way to draw an audience. So.
I feel like Bandai's kind of screwed that up since TP1, though. I mean, TP1, Diaboromon. The best. I mean, I mean, depending on how you play the deck, like OTK Diaboromon.
Yeah, remember when that was an $80 card?
Oh, my God, because there were so few of them. You know what I mean? Like, it was such a crazy card. I mean, obviously we haven't had any Diaboromon support.
Yep.
I'm not going to ring that bell again, but they haven't managed their promo stuff, just like you said, well, since the beginning. That was the first tournament pack, and they're just like, here's the most powerful card. Either and that was during the pandemic when nobody was doing in-house tournaments. Like, you literally had to find like the one place, probably in Florida,
that's basically where it was, where I bought a bunch of my stuff, right? At the beginning.
They were the only people letting people indoors to play Digimon tournaments, right?
Yeah.
Or they were importing from Latin America. Like, that was the only place to find that stuff. And it's like, they did that from the very beginning. And so we're already seeing that again. They're still doing stuff like that, like with the Digimon Survive promos, right? Like they're going to give us another version, but they're not reprinting the ones that you had to get from Anime Expo. So if you were fortunate like us and we got on eBay early on, we're able to get the trio for $25-$30.
Yeah.
You're fortunate. But if you're a collector and you want one of everything, the reprints with the better art, arguably, is not going to do it for you because you're going to want both. And so they have this track record of just doing promos in Japan the way they want to do it and then just being like an afterthought in the United States. Because we still don't even have the security Digimon. And
we don't have the whole Impmon, Blucomon, Huckmon.
Which I'm fine with until they release the cards.
The new Pulsemon.
Until they release the cards that are numerically supposed to be after that. And then you're like, what are you doing here? Like, as a collector, I have open spots in my binder and it drives me nuts. And with no end in sight. I'm like, where are these cards? Like, come on. So that's going to be my rant about that. Let's get back to the reprint set. Okay. Because the next reprint is a secret.
Oh, yes. This
I was
very
interested about.
Yes.
Because it's a BT. I mean, it came out of 1.0.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's the Metal Greymon.
It is a BT1, the secret from BT1, the Metal Greymon, the virus one. I absolutely love this card. The Heritable so good. It's so much fun. Yes, the 5 memory when it swings is steep. But I just remember so many times when BT5 came out, when we had the Metal Greymon Alterous mode, where I would just start building Greymon tribals. Yeah. Because now I have that Greymon, I would have the Alterous mode. Just a very, very fun card.
I mean, come on, let's be honest. It's meant for machine.
I mean,
who are you kidding?
Yeah, right. It's
a 3K inheritable cyborg that no one's ever logistically going to swing with.
Yeah, so whether or not I think this is an essential card, no. I don't think...
I did play that one deck that had like Gravity Crush in it.
Yeah.
That I did. I can't remember. It's an old deck, but I was able to swing with this and keep it my turn with Gravity.
That's impressive because you need a lot of memory to do that. Yeah. So
I think I lost 6 memory at the end of my turn though.
So I'm not opposed at all to them reprinting promos that are hard to get. Right.
Yeah.
The secret. I mean, I don't think anyone's struggling to get the secret. It might be a little spendy because it is a secret.
It's probably $12 or $13.
It will probably help drop the price, which I'm all for. Right. But I don't know if that's like, if there's so many limited spots, why is that one they picked?
Yeah.
And then is there going to be an alt art in the reprint set? Are they going to do the alt art of this as well?
Yeah.
It seems like they wouldn't.
No, it seems like, I mean, the thing is this is the first of the reprint cards that's been revealed and that is already foiled in its regular form. So
so this is going to be the same card with just a different set number.
It might be foiled differently.
Does it have a different block number?
I think they do have different block numbers. Yes, the block number is like 2.
So that's an interesting point, right? We don't know if Digimon's going to start doing a rotation.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't.
Yeah.
Definitely a conversation for another video.
Oh, yeah.
Right? If they're going to do a rotation.
We'll save that one for next week. Jot that down. We'll get into rotation.
Jot that down. But, so maybe if they decide to do a rotation, all of a sudden we can use these reprint cards because they're block 2. But, it's one of those things. I don't think this is an essential card that they needed to give players. No one's hurting on this Metal Greymon because if you're playing Wargreymon X or Black War Greymon, you're not playing that Metal Greymon.
No, it literally only goes in machine as far as competitive decks from what I've seen. So, I mean, argue with me if I'm wrong, but I mean,
No, I agree with you. No, I in competitive decks, that Metal Greymon doesn't see a lot of play unless you just are absolutely like me and you love big beefy level 5s and you decide to make some sort of weird Greymon tribal with level 5s and
a ton of Nokias
and stuff like I used to do back in the day, but it doesn't see much action.
Yeah.
But I think you had an interesting conversation about max rarities.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I wanted to kind of take this because there's going to be some scales here. There's going to be a give and take because when they announce reprints, right, then they're playing odds of OG players against new players.
Yeah.
I don't know if against, but they're trying to figure out, who do they want to appease more? And based on how this works, I think that it's okay just based on the fact that as long as all these cards look different, I think it's going to be okay for OG collectors.
Yeah.
Whereas we were a little bit more I don't want to say offended, but a little bit more off put when a lot of us bought the OG 1.0, 1.5s for an exorbitant amount of money by today's standards for what they cost now.
Find any on this?
Because we went out of our way to spend the money to search out the shops, to pay the scalper prices, to do that, and then they just did a huge reprint, which they could have done some kind of unlimited thing or put a different board or whatever, but they didn't do that.
Yes, so I mean,
is fine. We've swallowed that pride by now. Like we're like, we're fine. Whatever. I mean, people.
We'd rather have people play the game.
Yeah,
right.
It's 1.0, 1.5 are back out of print, so we're watching the prices slowly climb, even though the cards aren't really playable. A lot of them, right? So when they announced reprint sets, like it's really going to depend on what cards they chose to reprint.
Yeah.
So far through the discussion, the cards that I've seen aren't super high value cards.
Yep.
But it depends on which ones they choose. I mean, nobody knows how big this set's going to be, right?
Yeah.
So all of the things on Facebook where it's like they usually post like, if it's an EX set, it's like 74 or 76 cards, and so they fill in the gaps as the cards come in.
Yeah, so you're able to see kind of what we have left, what colors are going to be speculated,
But with this set, you're just like, there's question marks everywhere because nobody knows how many cards they're going to reprint for this set. And so far they're hitting. So to the credit of our friend that asked for cards from older sets, they're hitting some staples moving forward because we're talking about the Toy Agumon. This is one I know you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, no, this is one of those. So, we were having that conversation just about the max rarity, right? And I wanted to ask you as a collector, are you going to have a separate binder for the reprint set? Are you going to have like that Metal Greymon in the binder if it's the exact same as the BT1?
I think they're going to end up doing the foiling differently.
So it'd be very interesting to see, obviously, in person. I think last podcast episode, you did an awesome job about putting like the video of the Bizomon, how good it looks in person. So as soon as we get that, we'll be sure to share it with you.
So my hope for that Metal Greymon is that they texture it. Because if you're moving forward and they're adding a secret, so that since BT6, every secret has been textured, whether it's the alternate or not. So if they keep with that same mentality, then that should be textured.
And then there's an alt art reprint of that as well. I don't know if there'll be alt arts in a reprint. That could be textured, but this Toy Agu specifically, this is one that kind of dumbfounded me.
Me too.
Black actually has really good level 3s right now.
Yeah.
Right. When you talk about the security Chikrimon, when you talk about Chumon, when you talk about the starter deck Chikrimon, when you talk about whatever tribal you're playing in Black as a slow end base, whether you're playing D Brigade, you're playing all Commander Moths, right? There's tons of good level 3s at this point in the game. But back when 1.5 dropped or BT2 dropped, for those of you like me played since the beginning and got BT2 and it came out, right? You finally had a sweet level 3 Black that gave reboot that just all of a sudden you're like, I'm gonna swing, but then I'm gonna unsuspend and I'm a big beefy blocker as well.
Definition of a staple card from early set.
It was definitely like you played for this Toy Agu, and you could even argue now, like if you just like reboot so much, you could totally still play that Toy Agu.
Yeah, and no one's gonna bat an eye.
But my issue with this Toy Agu, right, is the fact that this is the 4th version. You have the base version for BT2. You have a Digifest version, which the Digifest version is nice. Don't get me wrong. Then you have this awesome event pack one that I'm a big fan of, right? I love that whole black with the geometric pattern in the background or whatever. So, and now we have this one, which is foil without the Digifest stamp. So if you've seen our channel, we do like to deck out our decks out, right? We do like to have pretty cardboard.
We do the bling.
But I'm not necessarily a fan of stamps, right? Like, for example, like Hero is an example from BT8. Like, I don't need the Digifest Hero or a pre-release Hero if I have the already foil Hero.
Yeah, because it's the same artwork.
Yeah, and like I don't necessarily need pre-release cards. I just like that they're foil versus not foil. Like I like
it's the uncommon ones that really
those are the ones that make the biggest difference because a rare is just one extra stamp on it, right? And I don't necessarily personally care. It may seem like it watching our channels where we go after max rarity, but it's really like a preference, right? It's like we like shiny cardboard and we want to make this shiny, but we don't go out of our way to like literally do pre-release everything max rarity because some people even argue, like in Cross Art, for example, a lot of people were arguing which was higher max rarity. Was it the pre-release Tamers or was it the full art box toppers?
Yeah.
Well, according to like the Market Watch, right, the pre-release were going more than the box toppers. And I'd much rather have the box toppers because they're just they just look way better. They're full color.
Yeah.
So I personally don't give, a hoot about perfect max rarity pre-release nonsense. I just like it foil or not foil, right?
The funny thing is I remember our first conversation about this.
Yeah.
Was it the first place that we played at?
Yeah.
It was when BT5 came out.
Yeah.
And there was the Takumis and the Nokias.
Yep.
And the old school pre-release treatment was they weren't foiled, but
they just had the stamp.
Gold pre-release, and it was
correct.
It was big and it was bold.
Yep.
And it really trumps the new pre-release, like the stamp itself. You know what I mean? Because it's like it seems like it's like deeper into the card, and
I don't own any of those pre-releases.
Oh, I got some.
I mean, I know you do. I just don't care. I don't need a Nokia that's pre-release versus one that's not.
Right.
When I had the box topper.
Because it didn't. You're right. Because the box topper is full art. It gets rid of the borders, but there was so much gold because back then the rares had gold on them already.
On the edges and stuff.
Yeah, but that pre-release stamp was so thick and deep that it was like more gold, But remember we talked about that early on.
So. Yeah. No, that's so people talk about like old BT4 because I think BT4 is when they first started doing pre-release.
Yes.
So Jacob was just playing Minerva today.
Yep.
And he was playing with those pre-release Cerberus Mons.
Yep.
And yes, they're cool and that's his baby. Of course he's gonna do the pre-release on them.
Yeah.
But I don't need them. So
yeah.
Definitely love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on that and stuff. But so Toyagu, definitely not a bad level 3.
Yeah. My favorite, though, I was excited to see this because we're talking about max rarity and we're talking about foiling cards that aren't normally foiled. And I've been asking for this for a little while, but this is kind of it's a concession by Bandai for my request, right?
Yeah, because they're obviously tuned in.
It's the best blocker in Machine Dramon. So the Magidramon from the starter deck.
Yes.
It's fine. They're going to give me a foil version of it.
That's awesome.
It's not an alt art.
That is awesome.
Which they've already alt arted almost every other.
Well, now Bandai's going to do this weird thing where there's going to be a random alt art in some event pack or store participation.
It's
or
fine.
Online
Give me an alt art for this card. They haven't done it yet. It's the first. I mean, it has to get an alt art eventually, right? Yes. It's the generic inheritable blocker. It goes in a lot of. That's the only reason people buy that starter deck.
It's for that card.
That and maybe the one cost
Commander Mons from it too. Right?
And the
if
dark,
they want to play the Commander Mons, Dark Side Attack.
Dark Tyrannos from that, right?
Oh, the Dark Tyranno blockers.
Yeah, the one cost blocker. Yes.
Yeah, no.
But anyways, I will be buying 2 of these to go in my Machine Dramon deck. But I'm excited about it because they're foiled. So, but they're not technically going to be max rarity.
No.
But I think I'm willing to concede that.
Yeah.
So they gave us more Gamamon stuff. So we got that's the promo hero, right?
Yeah. So I saw in the reveals that there's going to be another new promo hero.
Oh, okay.
There's one that searches and a new Gamamon that searches.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because I feel like the day before it got revealed, somebody posted in the comments or like in the Digimon TCG Facebook group, oh man, Gamamon needs a Gamamon that searches.
Yeah.
And then we literally the next day saw a reveal. And then there's a hero that lets you tuck a body underneath.
Oh, that's
almost like Analog Man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't remember if these from the reprint set are those or not. So I need to refresh on that. But either way, keep the Gamamon support coming because if it's going to be your main staple series right now, and if you're trying to expand a brand with Digimon, definitely give people free Gamamon stuff. Just chuck it at people. Just get their addresses, mail it to them, send them free Gamamon stuff, tell them to watch Ghost Game.
Tell them to watch our channel. We have a video.
Tell them to watch our channel and just dive into it, right? It's definitely making Gamamon more accessible is a win-win because unfortunately, guys, it is not the most competitive deck. I'm a huge Gamamon fan. I wish it was. But so it needs to be more accessible. You don't want to spend all this money on a deck that's not going to top every week, right?
And it's for such a tribal deck, you know, one that they've released a lot of support for. It just needs to be a little bit more, like you said, accessible and stronger. So, but talking accessible, we've been talking about this one for a while, and I've been watching the prices of the regular art Blitz Omni climb.
Yes.
The regular Blitz Omni got to around like $12 or $13.
It's a great card.
Do you remember how many of those we pulled?
I still have tons of those.
Stack, right?
I still have a stack of those Omnimons, yes.
But obviously, Battle for Omni is out of print. It has been for a while. And it is it's still, I mean, Blitz for Game is still.
Absolutely. It's still a thing.
It's still a verb, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's still a core in Melga X and Wargray X. Even people put it in Black Wargray because it's red, or Galmon, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is a perfect example of what Bandai should be doing in a reprint set.
Especially with the X Antibody, the new one. Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Like, obviously, I'm a sucker, and I would love to hear you guys in the comments what your favorite alt art of that Blitz Omni from BT5 is.
The mosaic format.
Yep. Which when we had 5 different artworks of that particular Omnimon.
Yep.
My personal one is the Metal Grumon. I think it's Sasasi is the artist. But I have a bunch of that one because I specifically buy that for my decks.
Yeah.
But this is a perfect example from Bandai making things accessible. A strong level 7 that goes in tons and tons of decks. Had they picked the BT1 Omni, that would be like, why'd you pick that one?
Yeah,
like,
why nobody uses it.
No one uses it anymore. Like, obviously that was a great card back then, but now people are on this Blitz Omni. So
no, I was super excited to see it just because it's such a good card. I mean, and then right before this, we got the reprint. I mean, it's a box topper, low or high rarity box topper for the Zwart defeat, right? We talked about that last week.
Yeah, that one looks really nice.
So they're giving us these Omnis, and they're just like, here's some old stuff.
Yeah.
Play it.
It's going to be interesting to see with BT13 with the Royal Knight set, what the new Omni from that set's going to be.
Yeah.
Right? Because will that make this Blitz Omnimon obsolete? And then will this once again be like a set too late?
I don't think so.
I feel like it won't. I feel like that's going to be
Blitz
a separate deck,
too
right?
I mean, for only 4, and it has the
unsuspend.
It broke the mold in the fact that it has that deletion protection that we didn't get for like 4 or 5 sets later in any other way or means. So Digivolves for 4 can swing for game, or you can swing. I mean, if you have Judgment, you can swing at stuff. I mean, there's a lot of cool. I mean,
tons of cool stuff.
Everyone should know what that card does. The next 2 were announced today while we were at locals.
Oh, so I haven't seen these yet.
They are like, one of them is not unexpected, right? Okay. So we got the Greymon. We're getting another reprint of the Security Attack Greymon.
Another Security Attack +1
Not
Greymon?
only are they trying to make Black War Grey,
artwork.
It's the same artwork. It's just foiled.
It's the starter deck.
It's the starter deck.
Foil.
Yeah, Security Attack +1.
Wow, I feel dumb buying the Judge ones now for sure.
Well, I mean, they've already given us reprints of this. I mean, they've already given us more ways to get it. I mean, ST11.
Good. I think that's...
It was a box. I mean,
I think that's important.
The box topper is still the best art.
I agree. From the ST11 version, that's one of my favorites too.
But I mean, that's not super accessible.
It's not.
So it's a staple. So I understand why people want it.
This is a great choice by Bandai to do this particular one. And I even like the Coralmon egg, right? Like, being able to draw one.
But this is definitely one that's not going to take away from Max Rarity, because Max Rarity is the Evo Cup. So we don't have to worry about that. That's not a discussion we have to have. It's literally just Bandai being like, this is a really good egg because you need to draw. So here you go.
Yeah.
It's also just kind of a dedication you can see from Bandai that, like, we're going to give you in red for reprints. We want you to play Hero, or we want you to play Gamamon, and we want you to play Greymon. Something, Yeah. It's very easy to see what they're doing, especially with the Blitz Omni.
I mean, they could honestly just do a whole reprint set for red with how much support Galmon has, Greymon has, Black War Grey, the red hybrids, especially like they're doing in BT12, where they gave all those protagonists, right, all that support in one set. So but that's it. That's all we have so far for the reprint set. It'd be fun, exciting set. I'm looking forward to this.
It's exciting, but we also have no idea how big it's going to be. So this could be a longer segment. I guess we'll see between now and next week how many cards they actually reveal. And it seems like they're giving us good staples. So for our friend or our buddy, just pay attention to what they're reprinting, because so far they're pretty on deck. I mean, with the exception of the Gamamon stuff, they seem like they're kind of pushing a little bit. The cards they've revealed. I'm curious to see what they do if they go purple, blue, yellow.
Oh, yeah.
Like, do we get another Magna-Angemon?
I'll take a foil Jack Raid, right? I'll take a foil Jack Raid. I'll take a foil Revive from Darkness.
Yeah.
I'll take a foil Cerberusmon, whatever. Like,
yeah, I think that there's some staples that we're destined to see.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I mean, we've only seen a couple colors so far.
Correct.
So we're going to get into cards of the week. Who's going first?
I think it's your turn. I feel like I always go first.
Fine.
You just go first.
Go first. So I've been playing with this card for a little bbit. It ended up in this green. So like we've been talking about, we referenced, I guess, a little bit earlier. We're going to do a revisit series, an update series on some of the decks, especially going back to some of the decks that we profiled back in September, because I've been
beginning of the channel.
Yes, I've been revisiting some of these decks. When I was reviewing some of the videos on the channel, just updating, what we're doing with this new brand and everything. There was one deck that stood out that I realized I never actually took to locals and played, but I had a lot of fun testing it, and that was the Green Merciful Zoo deck I was one of the early decks. Like, we tested a bunch. I had a lot of fun with it, but it's been a couple formats now, and I wanted to update it. I've been having a lot of fun with the Dino Rexmon. That's not my card, but it's a dual-colored card in green that helps Imperial Dramon Paladin mode, which is my card of the week. Which, if you go back to your Leomon video,
yes,
which will come out, don't go back to it. Wait for it.
Wait for it. The Leomon video is coming out in a couple days.
Because you feature it as well.
Yes.
In a deck that you've been working on for a long time. It is a fantastic card. I honestly don't think it's fantastic and I think a lot of people agree with it because, you look at these Imperial Dramon, like tribal lists or whatever you want to call them, and you don't see it like maybe it's a one of ish. Because I think a key part of the card is that cheaper Digivolution cost when you can return another level 7 white back to your deck from your trash. So it requires you to have a big body in your trash, right? But it pairs really well with like Omnimon Merciful mode, which trashes itself. And if you can get there quickly, so I'll probably get into this video. We'll probably film this deck once it gets to a place where I like it, but it was my first outing with it today, and I had fun with it in testing. I didn't take it to the tournament. I don't think it's ready. But
it'll be there.
It'll get there. It's fun. But I had a lot of fun with Paladin mode. I think it's an underrated card for certain formats.
16k DP.
Yeah, it's great in security.
Yep.
I've been trying to figure out how to get it to work in Hexablow because I think it pairs better with Hexablow than it does with Imperial.
Well, it's a control level 7 versus the Blitz Omni, which so many people are gravitating to in red and blue decks because, especially with Imperial, very aggressive multi-swing.
Yes.
However you're playing Imperial, Blitz Omni is the perfect top end, right?
And I think a lot of people read it kind of wrong because, like...
Guilty.
When you look at it, like, so there's so much in that text box, right? Yes. And that was the first thing that I saw when I saw the winners for Ultimate Cup.
Yeah.
When I saw that, and I was like, man, that text box is huge. But then you actually read it, and it's not that bad. So you can Digivolve it for 3 if you have that level 7, right? Which is pretty rare in Imperial Dramon Tribal.
Especially if you're only playing a 1/2 of, right?
Yes, but then it has a when Digivolving when attacking, where there's 2 different things that happen in that when Digivolving when attacking. The first one is that if you have a dual color underneath it, you can take it out, and I think it goes back to deck or hand. I think it's deck. To activate the effect to trash all the Digivolution cards from one Digimon. And then the other effect that happens all the time, either when Digivolving or when attacking, and that's return every card the opponent has.
Yeah.
Essentially, to the bottom of their deck if it doesn't have Digivolution cards. So the only thing that requires that trash all the sources is the 2 color.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get to swing and return all their Death X's all you want.
Over and over again. It's great.
So it's a really fun card that kind of comes out of nowhere. I think it's a good gotcha card.
Yeah.
Where people kind of wrote it off. I mean, obviously, it's not the best level 7. It's not the best answer for things, but I think that in certain decks, I mean, I've been playing with it in a deck that runs 8 or 9 level 7 whites, which sounds like a lot, but bear with me until the deck's done. But typically there's 1 in trash, especially since the merciful modes, like I said, trash themselves at the beginning of their opponent's turn. So, being able to digivolve into that for 3 does a lot of damage.
Killer.
Does a
it
lot
all of a sudden
damage.
makes that 16k ridiculously cheap, and you're just like, holy crap, I can't believe you got that on the field.
And plus, if they hit it in security, if they hit it in security, 16k, it's something you don't expect to see.
Yep.
They're swinging with their or Yukin or whatever, So that's mine. That's my over-explaining. And I know you're cheating this week. So
I'm cheating this week.
What is your cards of the week?
So in spirit of the holidays, I figured, what color ornaments do people put on their Christmas trees? Or for those of you who don't celebrate Christmas or don't like Christmas because you're Scrooges like me, my card of the week is red, blue, yellow, green, black, and purple memory boost.
Yes.
All of them. All of them are my cards of the week. Unfortunately, guys, I don't want to sit here for the next 6 weeks and pick a color of a memory boost and just jump into it over and over again. So, I guess we'll kind of keep it festive, but these memory boost cards are amazing, guys. I'm a huge fan of them. I know we always talk about it when we pull up like regional lists where we're starting to see like an uptrend at how many memory boosts people are playing, but it's just such a perfect consistency card. So, imagine playing a deck and you need a searcher. You need some sort of search in your deck, and then you also need the ability to, when you want to make a big move, crack that boost to gain 2 memory when you need it, right? To make whatever play it is. So there's a lot of times where if I'm thinking about a spot in my deck where I might want to play a tamer, where I'll try a memory boost and I'll be happier with that.
Yeah.
Because that memory boost, especially it's like a turn 1 play, is a great move.
I think a big part of that too is especially if it's a deck where your level 7s are actually a color that you're like playing of your deck. Yeah. Huge. I mean, there's Agubond or like anything where the level 7 is not a white card, then I think that it has to go in because you're able to search out your top end or your low end at the same time.
Well, how many Melga or Wargray or even Alphamon players have sat there with 1 level 3 in hand on turn 1, right? And they're like, and it's a searcher, right? Whether it's Dorumon, whether it's Ryudomon, whether it's Agumon X or the BT5 Agu or the same situation for the Gabumon stuff, right? And how many times have they sat there like, and maybe not have a level 4 in hand and go, do I Digivolve for 0 in the raising area on turn 1? Or do I hard play this for 3, reveal top 3, 5, 4 cards, whatever, grab what I need to hand, right? And how many times have you done that? And then you reveal like 3 level 3s or 2 level 3s. Yeah. You're like, well, I can't grab that. Well, that memory boost does a really good job of taking that place where you get to grab any level as long as it's the color, right? So for red memory boost, right? You can grab a 3, you can grab a 4, you can grab a 5, you can grab a 6, where you can all of a sudden make these plays when you need to, and you add cards to hand, and it just sits there on board. And it's also not a Death X target.
Yeah.
Right? So unlike a Tamer would be. So I think memory boosts are just like the perfect card. I remember when they got announced in Japan, and I feel like it changed the way the game was played.
Dude, I looked at those gameplay videos, and I was like, why would you use that card?
Yeah.
I was like, it takes up room in your deck. Like,
takes up room.
I looked at it several times, and I'm like, I don't understand this meta. I don't understand because we got to watch them play with it for months before we even got.
Yeah, because they came in a starter deck.
We didn't even get it until the Jess or the
Galamon and Ulforce deck, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Which is great how I really like how Bandai distributed them.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect way. You get one of each of the 6 colors.
They were all textured and foiled.
Yeah, and I'm not. And also, guys, in the comments,
Here we go.
Let me know what you think about the alt arts. There are certain colors I like more than others, but I am such a big fan of the original alt arts because they have just a nice, great texture. But I think these memory boosts just really, really help your gameplay. I think they help just like accelerate cards in your hand. They give you consistency. They give you memory when you really need to pop. So if you guys are struggling with your decks and you feel like the Tamer, you're kind of forcing yourself to make some bad moves or maybe giving your opponent 4 when you only need memory 1 turn, here and there, which is the way the game plays or whatever, try the memory boost. I think you guys really like them. I think most people know the value of those, but I just really wanted to highlight them this week.
Yeah, it's a good, I don't want to say filler card, but it's a good
Yeah, well, I mean, it is. Yeah,
if you feel like that you have the right number of cards as far as like offensive, defensive, and you have still a couple spots to fill, there's nothing wrong with adding those and making them a little bit more competitive and consistent.
Absolutely.
Sure. So you referenced that you have a lot of free time coming.
I mean, I wouldn't say free time with the holidays, but hopefully you got some time off work and hopefully have some time. We'll see.
I want to test against this Pulsemon deck. You better. Yes. I want to see that one. Put it together. Pulsemon Tribal. Yeah.
Definitely, we had a request in the comments, I remember, for that Pulsemon Tribal, and I put together a theory list, and unfortunately, I just haven't had the time to test it like I want to, and I'm worried that it might not end up as tribal as I want, because I, especially in Magic, have lost many rounds in Magic because I'm so stubborn with tribal. And sometimes Digimon does that to me too, where I really want to stick to the tribal and end up losing. So definitely excited to see Pulsemon in action. I mean, the level 3s are great. The Impulse Memory Boost is great.
Yes.
So
I can't wait to see that actually used, because nobody used it.
Yep.
Saw it a little bit in pre-release, I think.
I think you won with pre-release with it.
Maybe. I think I only used it a couple times.
Yeah.
In pre-release. Yeah, so you got that going. I mean, I don't want to disappoint anybody, but I don't think Hexablow works.
Oh, man, it's frustrating, right?
Because it's very frustrating because it is very slow, and you can talk about the new support and stuff, but
it just feels unfortunate. Like, Bandai was like late on. I get it. I know there's so many sets and so many cards that they have to give people, but that Snow Agu should have came in BT6, right? It made Hexablow even stronger back then, instead of BT10.
I don't want to say I'm giving up on it, but I've shifted my focus to this green gotcha-ish deck that is already, like, my first version was semi-competitive. I won games against you. I won games against Jacob. Like, it's getting there. It's a green zoo-ish deck that relies on the Tamer and the Mame Tyrannomon.
Yeah, the Mame Tyrannomon.
Yes, Mame Tyrannomon. Yeah,
it should be a Tyranno, but that's a whole nother episode.
But the swing Digivolve for free into a 6. Been having a lot of fun. If you look at, you can go back to the Green Merciful video, but I've changed it because Dino Rexmon is fantastic.
Yeah, big 13K body.
Very good. Digivolve for free into it, and then gain memory. So you're gain memory for Digivolving into it. Plus, it's also a control card. A lot of cool shit.
Yeah.
A lot of cool stuff.
I really do like the green-red level 6. I think it'd be fun to see a lot more green-red cards.
Plus, the dual color really helps the Imperial Dramon Paladin mode. So, it's kind of a teaser. There's some stuff coming, but I'm not going to film it until I feel like it's ready. There's a couple tweaks after tonight that I want to make, and I think that we're getting in a good spot with it. So, that's kind of what I'm working on tweaking for the next week or so during the holidays. I think that's kind of it. I hope you guys really enjoyed looking at this new format background. I mean, this is kind of a new thing that we're doing. Like we said, we're gonna keep Wayward on the walls because it's our home base. We love it.
That's
where we're gonna play.
Absolutely.
It's still the Discord we're gonna link. That's still where you guys can find us. We're going deep. We're Digimon all the way, guys. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please reach out to us in Discord or via comments, and we'll make sure and hit you back. So come play some games with us. We're going to get some gameplay going, especially over the holiday weekend. I think we should have some time to get some stuff going.
Yes.
And look forward to some great videos. We have Minervamon Loop and Leomon at least ready for you. We'll probably have some more too. Check us out, guys. Thanks for watching.